Hello. Today we're going to talk about The Hobbit. Many things about The Hobbit actually. There's going to be a trailer playing, but we're mostly talking about relatively new news about the thing
That's
has
true.
changed. Starting with,
It's now 3 movies.
which is big news.
Yeah, for a 300-page book.
It's kind of strange. Yeah, it's a very small. The Hobbit is much smaller than Lord of the Rings, and originally was supposed to be split into two, presumably two 3-hour movies. This being Peter Jackson, Unexpected Journey, and They Are Back Again. And now he's decided that
There's a third unannounced film. The title's unannounced, but I expect it'll be another 3-hour film. So we're talking 9 hours of Hobbit.
Yeah, well, he said he sat down, he looked through all the footage that they had so far, and said, we've got loads of extra story here, and that they also own the rights to the appendices from the Lord of the Rings novels.
They also love money.
Yes, he is. He is a producer on these, so you can't overestimate that. I mean, I like The Hobbit as a book. It is a nice book, but it's quite small. It's quite self-contained. It's much more of a childish world than Lord of the Rings, so I don't know if it suits this much material.
Well, we both made the assumption. I think everyone's made the assumption that they're going to draw from the appendices, like the Silmarillion and stuff like that.
Well, as far as I know, technically they don't own the rights to the Silmarillion. They own
Okay.
Lord of the Rings, so they can't touch those stories. So they have to. There are extensive appendices in some of the versions of Lord of the Rings, but they can't use the actual Silmarillion book, which is good because it's really boring anyway. No one wants to see it. But I think, as far as I know, the first movie, which is going to be released this Christmas, will take you up as far as. You haven't read the book, but it's like Mirkwood and Rivertown, and then the second movie will be mostly about stealing the stuff from Smaug, and then presumably the way back.
But is it just going to be full of 45-minute flashbacks where Gandalf's like, hold on there now, Hobbit, I'll tell you a story, and then it's completely different cast of characters, just for a while. It's just be like, we need more money.
They were pretty good at expanding on things. They had new additions in the Lord of the Rings. I think worked quite well. I don't know. I have a bit of faith in Peter Jackson. I don't know if I want to see in 3 more movies that are like Lord of the Rings again.
I'm not sure. The dwarves might be funny.
Okay.
You know, Lord of the Rings lacked a bit of humour. I know the hobbits were meant to be humorous, but they kind of got trying after a while.
I always found Lord of the Rings more broad than I expected, really, considering it's such a dark tale. And I think Peter Jackson just can't help that. I would say they will be funny. I'd say there's a lot of laughing at Bilbo falling around the place.
That's true.
But
Aiden Turner's in this as one of the, I think, 65 dwarves.
there are
in the cast,
several dwarves. He's someone who's in Being Human.
Yes, he is. He's in Being Human.
I don't watch the television. Having an extra film is annoying to think about now. But another thing that they've released recently is that they're going to be. This movie was famously shot in 48 frames per second, which is something that hasn't really been done before at this scale. It was also supposed to be projected in 48 because there's no point in shooting it if you're not going to show it. But the reaction at CinemaCon earlier in the year was so negative when Peter Jackson showed the movie at 48 frames that they've now reversed that decision and they've decided they're going to just do a limited release in cinemas and probably only in the States because there are no places, as far as I know, here that can actually project it at 48 frames a second.
Which is twice the usual, isn't it? It's usually 24.
It's usually 24, but it means something surely took longer to shoot and was more expensive and was supposed to be a technological breakthrough. They've now just completely backtracked on because Warner Brothers was supposed to support cinemas to upgrade their specs.
What was the thinking behind it? That it looked too realistic?
Yeah.
He's like, hey, those trolls aren't trolls.
The reaction was that it was really,
It's a lie.
it was really smooth, and all the props looked like props, and all the makeup was very, very obvious.
So it's like people had to use their imaginations.
I don't know. Peter Jackson has said that obviously if it's a 48 frames per second movie, that's a 3D movie. That means it's 96 frames, which is something that would, of course, have a smoother image, and it's supposed to look better in 3D. But if nowhere can show it, and you've already shot it, it does seem like a shame just to sort of let it go.
Also, waste of money as well.
Yes,
Which could explain this third film.
To make more of the money.
Yeah.
Well, The Hobbit: An Unexpected Journey is in cinemas in December.
And then next
2012.
December.
And then next December for There and Back Again.
And then December.
Not December.
Probably.
The next one is going to be a summer release.
Oh.
So they're looking for like a massive blockbuster. I mean, the last movie got a lot of Oscars.
Yeah.
And made a lot of money. So this time they're going for both again, which is good.
Mainly the money, though. I think.
They do like the money. And that's The Hobbit. Go to clickonline.com for more.